The city of Nerathis never slept. It was a sprawling hive of neon lights, corporate towers piercing the smog-choked sky, and streets filled with the forgotten, those cast aside by the machine of progress. Trash disposal units hummed all night, swallowing bags of waste from the wealthy districts and spitting them into vast landfill zones at the edge of the city. In this age, where synthetic humans and experimental biotech blurred the line between man and machine, not everything thrown away was garbage. Some things, some people were discarded too. On a bitter night, beneath flickering street lamps, two masked men carried a black sack through the alleys. The sack was large, heavy, and squirmed faintly. "Are you sure no one will find him?" one whispered. "No one checks the landfill. By morning, he'll be crushed with the rest." The sack gave a muffled groan, but the men ignored it, heaved it into the back of a trash hauler, and disappeared into the shadows. Inside the sack was a man, barely conscious, disoriented and bound. His name was Cale Vaynar, though he couldn't remember it at that moment. His breath was shallow, his limbs weak, and his mind clouded by whatever sedative they had pumped into him. He didn't know why they wanted him gone. He only knew one thing. He was still alive, and something deep in his chest screamed not to give up. The discovery. Hours later, as the trash hauler rumbled toward the city's outer disposal sectors, a maintenance worker named Orin Hale walked his usual route. Orin was an unremarkable man in his late 40s, tired eyes, graying hair, a patched uniform. He had once dreamed of becoming a pilot, but life had ground those dreams down into routine survival. He lived alone, fixing street wiring and monitoring disposal trucks for malfunctions. That night, while repairing a faulty power conduit, he paused. At first, he thought he'd imagined it, the faintest sound carried on the wind. Muffled voice. A desperate, broken whisper. "Help!" Orin froze, tools clattering to the pavement. He looked around, no one. Then again, clearer this time. "Please, help me." The voice wasn't coming from the street. It was coming from the trash hauler, its cargo bay filled with bulging sacks destined for the incinerators. Orin's gut twisted. He shouldn't get involved. People had been disposed of before. Whistleblowers, experiments gone wrong, rivals of the corporations. Interfering meant risk. But the voice came again, weaker now. Orin climbed onto the hauler, heart pounding, and ripped open the largest sack. What he found inside made his blood run cold. A man half conscious, his body bruised and pale. Strange metallic filaments threaded through his skin, as though someone had tried to graft machinery into his very flesh. His eyes fluttered open, glowing faintly with an unnatural silver sheen. "Who are you?" the man rasped. Orin swallowed hard. "Someone who just heard a voice I couldn't ignore." And with those words, Orin's life changed forever. Awakening. Orin dragged Cale from the trash hauler before the disposal systems kicked in. The man was heavier than he looked, and the filaments beneath his skin were warm, humming faintly as if alive. Orin managed to get him into his maintenance shed, locking the door behind them. Cale collapsed on the cot, gasping. His memories came in fragments. Men in lab coats, endless tests, pain searing his body, voices arguing about failure and containment. Then the sack. The dark. The certainty of death. "Why did you save me?" Cale asked. Orin hesitated. He didn't have a noble answer. Maybe it was guilt. Too many years of ignoring the cries of the city's broken. Maybe it was loneliness. Or maybe, for once, he wanted to do something that mattered. "Because no one deserves to be thrown away," Orin said finally. Cale studied him, then nodded weakly. "They'll come looking for me." "Who?" Cale closed his eyes. The people who made me. The truth of Kale. Over the next days, as Kale regained strength, Orin learned fragments of his story. Kale was not entirely human. He had been born in Nerathis but taken as a child by Zeratech Industries, one of the city's most powerful corporations. They specialized in human augmentation, cybernetics, genetic splicing, nanotech integration. Kale had been one of their projects, engineered to be the prototype of a new hybrid soldier. They tried to make me more than human, Kale said, staring at the humming filaments in his arms. But something went wrong. My body rejected their implants. I was unstable, a liability. So they tried to erase me, quietly. Orin listened in silence. He had heard rumors of such things. Ghost stories told in the slums about test subjects who vanished. But sitting across from Kale, those stories were painfully real. You're saying they'll come after you? Orin asked. Kale nodded. They don't leave loose ends. Anyone who touches me is in danger. Orin glanced around his shabby shed. He had nothing, no wealth, no power, no allies. Yet somehow, he couldn't bring himself to abandon Kale. Then we'll deal with it, Orin said, surprising even himself. The hunt. It didn't take long. Within days, Orin noticed drones buzzing overhead, Zeratech surveillance machines. Strangers loitered near the alleys, watching, waiting. The corporation knew Kale was still alive. One night, as Orin returned from a repair shift, he found his door smashed open. Inside, Kale stood against the wall, trembling but defiant. 3 black-armored enforcers advanced on him, their weapons humming with blue plasma. Orin didn't think. He grabbed the heavy wrench from his belt and swung at the nearest enforcer. The blow landed with a sickening crack, dropping the man. Kale's eyes blazed silver, and the filaments in his skin surged like living wires. A burst of energy rippled out, throwing the remaining enforcers back. When silence fell, Orin stared at Kale in shock. What was that? Kale's chest heaved. The reason they fear me. The reason they wanted me gone. On the run. There was no staying in Nerathis anymore. Orin and Kale fled into the city's underbelly. Abandoned tunnels, forgotten districts where the corporation's reach was weaker. Along the way, Orin saw flashes of Kale's power. Machines bending to his will, drones collapsing mid-air as if crushed by invisible hands, data streams flickering across his glowing eyes. But each use of that power drained him. His body was failing, caught between human frailty and machine perfection. We can't keep running forever, Orin said one night, as they hid in the skeletal remains of a collapsed tower. There's only one way, Kale replied. The core. The core was the central data nexus of Zeratech Industries, buried beneath their tallest spire. If Kale could reach it, he might unlock the truth of what he was, and perhaps sever their control over him. It was madness, but Orin had come too far to turn back. The infiltration. Under the cover of a storm, Orin and Kale infiltrated Zeratech's spire. Orin used his knowledge of maintenance systems to bypass security doors and reroute power. Kale, though weakening, pushed his abilities to the limit, silencing cameras, disabling drones, bending circuits to their path. At last, they reached the core, a vast chamber of glass and steel, humming with rivers of light. Suspended in the center was a sphere of pure data, the beating heart of Zeratech's empire.